You don't have a cleaning problem. You have a scheduling problem wearing a mop. And there is a very specific difference between those two things. A cleaning problem means you need to work harder, or buy better products, or simply push through more effort on the weekend. A scheduling problem means the actual issue was never effort at all, it was how that effort got structured, start to finish, and Japan has 4 specific systems that restructure it completely. 4 systems. Not 4 tips, not 4 small tricks, 4 complete structural approaches to how cleaning gets organized across a week, each one addressing a different source of wasted time most people have never actually identified, because they've never had a reason to look at cleaning as a system with actual inefficiencies built into it. Stay with me until system number 4, because number 4 is the one that determines whether the previous 3 actually compound into real, measurable time savings, or just quietly stay 3 separate good ideas that never fully connect. But first, system number 2 is the one that's going to surprise you most, because it's not really about how you clean at all. It's about a specific, measurable form of wasted motion almost nobody accounts for, and eliminating it alone can save a genuinely significant chunk of your total weekly cleaning time. Let's begin. Most of us think about cleaning time the wrong way. We treat the actual scrubbing, wiping, and vacuuming as the time-consuming part, and try to speed those specific actions up, faster products, more efficient tools, working through the list quicker. What research on time motion efficiency in household tasks consistently finds is that a large share of total cleaning time isn't spent cleaning at all. It's spent retrieving tools, deciding what to do next, and recovering from disorganized scheduling, none of which shows up as cleaning in the moment, but all of which adds up to a substantial share of the total hours a typical household spends on it every week. Japan's traditional approach to home maintenance addresses this at the systems level, not the technique level. There's a concept behind this called soji, not a single cleaning event, but an entire structural approach to maintaining a space through organized, distributed, consistent effort. 4 systems. Each one restructuring a different part of the process, when cleaning happens, how tools are accessed, how much dirt even enters the equation, and how the less frequent tasks get batched. Let's go through every single one. System number 1. Zone-based daily rotation, the home divided into sections, with one section cleaned thoroughly each day instead of the whole house cleaned all at once. You've probably structured your own cleaning the way most Western households default to, a single, larger session, usually on a weekend, where the whole house gets addressed at once. This feels efficient because it's consolidated into one block. It's actually one of the least time-efficient structures available, and understanding why changes how you should be scheduling this entirely. Here's the mechanism. A single large cleaning session covering an entire home requires sustained attention and physical effort across many different types of tasks in a row: kitchen, bathroom, floors, dusting, and sustained multitask effort produces measurable fatigue-related slowdown the longer the session runs, meaning the final rooms cleaned in a long session typically take proportionally longer, and get less thorough attention, than the first ones. There's a second cost layered on top of this, because the whole house is only being addressed once a week. The accumulated mess by the time that session arrives is at its absolute weekly maximum, meaning the session has to work through the largest possible accumulation every single time. The traditional zone rotation approach behind soji divides a home into a fixed set of sections: kitchen, bathroom, one living area, bedrooms, entryway, for example, and assigns one section per day, cleaned thoroughly, rather than the whole home cleaned lightly once a week. Here's the compounding math behind why this actually saves total time rather than just redistributing the same amount across more days. Each individual zone, addressed daily or every few days, never accumulates more than a day or two's worth of mess, meaning each individual session is dramatically shorter, often under 10 minutes per zone, than the equivalent portion of a large weekly session would be, because there's simply less accumulated dirt and disorder to work through each time. Multiple time-tracking studies on distributed versus consolidated task scheduling have found that the same total task volume, broken into smaller, more frequent sessions, is consistently completed in meaningfully less total time than the identical task volume attempted in one large session, partly due to reduced fatigue-related slowdown, and partly due to each individual mess simply never being allowed to reach its maximum accumulated size. There's also a structural benefit that has nothing to do with raw time. A home cleaned by daily zone rotation never actually looks dirty as a whole, because no single day passes without at least one section receiving real attention: visitors, unexpected guests, or simply your own daily experience of the home benefit from this rolling baseline of freshness that a once-a-week system, by its nature, cannot provide during the days leading up to its next scheduled session. The shift, the same total weekly cleaning workload, distributed across 7 small daily zone sessions instead of one large weekend session, takes measurably less total time to complete, not because you're doing less work, but because no individual mess is ever allowed to accumulate to the size that makes cleaning it disproportionately slow and tiring. That is system number 1. Now, system number 2 is the one I mentioned at the very beginning, and it's going to surprise you, because it's not about scheduling at all. It's about something that happens in the seconds before and after every single cleaning task. System number 2. Pre-staged tool caddies kept in each zone, rather than a single central supply closet retrieved from for every task. Slow down here, because I know what you're thinking, that walking to a supply closet to grab cleaning tools is such a minor, incidental part of the process that it couldn't possibly account for meaningful time. Here's what time motion research actually shows about this specific kind of retrieval overhead, and why it's a far bigger factor than intuition suggests. Here's the mechanism. Time motion studies, a field of research originally developed to analyze efficiency in industrial and manufacturing settings, later applied to household and workplace tasks, consistently find that non-value-added motion, meaning time spent moving between locations to retrieve or return tools rather than actually performing the task itself, accounts for a surprisingly large share of total task time in almost any repeated physical process. Applied to household cleaning, walking to a central supply closet, selecting the right products and tools for the specific zone you're about to clean, carrying them to that zone, and later returning them after the task is finished adds several minutes of pure retrieval and transport time to every single cleaning session, time that produces zero actual cleaning, but is nonetheless a mandatory part of the process every time it's repeated. Multiplied across the zone rotation system from System 1, where cleaning is happening in small sessions, in different zones, considerably more often than a single weekly session would require, this retrieval overhead compounds significantly. A once-a-week cleaning session pays this retrieval cost once. A daily zone rotation system, done the traditional way with all tools stored centrally, would pay it every single day, potentially eating into a meaningful share of the exact time savings System 1 was supposed to provide. The traditional solution is a small, pre-staged set of tools kept directly in or near each zone, a cloth and a small bottle of cleaner kept under the bathroom sink specifically for the bathroom, a dedicated small broom and dustpan kept in the kitchen specifically for the kitchen, so that zone-based cleaning never requires a single trip to a central location at all. The tools are simply already there, exactly where the task is going to happen, every single time. The shift, the same daily zone cleaning task, performed with tools already staged in that zone instead of retrieved from a central closet each time, eliminates several minutes of pure non-cleaning transport time from every single session, a savings that seems small per instance, but compounds into a genuinely significant chunk of total weekly time once you account for how many small sessions the zone rotation system in Habit 1 actually involves. That is system number 2. Now, system number 3, and this addresses something that reduces how much cleaning is even required in the first place, rather than how efficiently it's performed. System number 3. A structural entry boundary, shoes removed and outerwear managed at a single fixed point, that prevents the majority of dirt from entering the home at all. Most households treat cleaning as a response to dirt that's already accumulated. This third system operates entirely upstream of that, reducing the total volume of dirt and debris that ever enters the equation in the first place, which has a direct, measurable effect on how much time any subsequent cleaning system actually requires. Here's the mechanism. Research on household contamination has found that outdoor footwear tracks in the substantial majority of the dirt, debris, and bacteria that end up on interior floors. A single, fixed entry boundary, where shoes are removed before proceeding further into the home, is one of the most effective single interventions available for reducing floor-level dirt accumulation. This connects directly and quantitatively to Systems 1 and 2. A floor that accumulates meaningfully less dirt per day requires proportionally less time to clean during each zone session, meaning this system doesn't operate independently of the previous two. It directly reduces the workload those two systems have to handle. The traditional Japanese genkan, a small, structurally distinct entryway specifically designed as the fixed point where outdoor shoes come off before the rest of the home begins, treats this boundary not as an optional courtesy but as a genuine, load-bearing part of the overall cleaning system. A household without a clearly defined, consistently enforced entry boundary is, in effect, running systems 1 and 2 against a meaningfully larger daily dirt input than a household with one, meaning the same rotation and tool staging systems will still work, but will take longer per session than they would if this upstream reduction were also in place. The shift, the same zone rotation and tool staging systems, run against a household with a genuine, consistently enforced entry boundary, require measurably less time per session than the identical systems run against a household where outdoor shoes track dirt throughout. This system doesn't clean anything itself, it simply reduces how much cleaning the other systems ever have to do. That is system number 3. Now, system number 4, the one I told you at the very start, determines whether the other 3 actually compound into real-time savings. Stay here, because this is the most important thing in this entire video. System number 4. A single fixed weekly batch session for the less frequent tasks that don't fit the daily zone rotation, done in the same order every time. This last system addresses a category of tasks the previous 3 deliberately leave out, things like washing windows, deep cleaning appliances, or laundering items that don't need daily or even weekly attention, but do need to happen on some kind of regular, predictable schedule. Here's the mechanism, and why this system is what actually makes the other 3 sustainable long-term rather than something that quietly falls apart within a few weeks. Without a dedicated, batched slot for these less frequent tasks, they tend to either get squeezed inefficiently into the daily zone sessions, undermining the whole point of keeping those sessions short, or get postponed indefinitely because there's never an obvious, designated moment when they're supposed to happen. Batching theory, a well-established efficiency principle from both manufacturing and personal productivity research, holds that similar tasks grouped together and performed in a single dedicated session are completed more efficiently than the same tasks scattered individually across many different days, largely because grouping similar tasks reduces the mental and physical switching cost of moving between fundamentally different types of activity. A single, fixed weekly session, the same day, the same rough time, the same fixed sequence of tasks every week, gives these less frequent tasks a genuine home in the schedule, the same way System 1 gave daily tasks a genuine home by zone. Here's the part that makes this the true multiplier system on this entire list. Without it, Systems 1 through 3 can each work individually and still leave a household feeling like cleaning is never quite finished, because the less frequent tasks are always floating, undone, somewhere in the back of your mind. With a fixed weekly batch slot, every category of task, daily zones, less frequent batch tasks, has an actual designated place in the week, and a designated place is what allows the whole system to be trusted enough to stop consciously thinking about it at all. The shift, the same set of less frequent tasks, left to float without a fixed schedule, either gets squeezed inefficiently into daily sessions or quietly postponed indefinitely. Given one fixed weekly batch slot, done in the same order every time, those tasks stop being an ongoing, unresolved mental burden and become simply one more predictable part of the week, which is what finally allows the entire 4-system structure to feel complete rather than perpetually unfinished. That is system number 4. Here is everything in one breath. Divide your home into zones and clean one thoroughly each day, rather than the whole house in one large weekly session. Stage a small set of tools directly in each zone, eliminating retrieval trips to a central supply closet. Establish a genuine, consistently enforced entry boundary that reduces how much dirt ever enters your home in the first place. And give the less frequent, non-daily tasks one fixed weekly batch slot, done in the same order every time. 4 systems. None of them require new products, a bigger budget, or more total effort than you're already putting in. Every single one is about restructuring how that same effort gets organized across your week, not increasing how much of it you have to do. You were never actually bad at cleaning, or short on the discipline it takes to keep a home in order. You were simply running a structurally inefficient system, one large session instead of 7 small ones, central tool retrieval instead of staged access, no upstream dirt reduction, and no fixed home for the tasks that don't happen daily. Now you have 4 specific structural changes that fix all of it at once. So here's what I want from you before you close this video. Right now, tell me in the comments which one of these 4 systems your current cleaning routine is most missing. Is it System 1? Do you still try to clean your entire home in one large session instead of distributing it across the week? Is it System 3? Is there no real entry boundary in your home, with outdoor shoes worn freely throughout? Is it System 4? Do less frequent tasks like windows or deep appliance cleaning just float indefinitely, never quite getting done? Tell me the number, 1 through 4, in the comments right now, because naming it is the first step, and someone reading your comment might recognize their own routine in it and finally decide to restructure it starting this week. If this changed how you think about cleaning, send it to the one person you know who's always exhausted by their weekend cleaning marathon and has no idea it's the schedule itself, not their effort, that's actually the problem. They're 4 structural changes away from getting several hours of their week back. I'll see you in the next one.